Hi, I'm Shan Wu, and have I got a deal for you? Just imagine a deal that increases your wealth and your family's wealth by billions in just a few months. Can that be legal? No worries. I'll show you just how you can do it. Now, if you subscribe to our channel, you won't make billions of dollars in a few months. But you should subscribe, because what you will get is very unbiased, true, accurate reporting, opinion, and most importantly, analysis. So I hope you'll join with us and help us grow this community and grow this knowledge. So back to the deal. How can you do that legally, right? How can you make so much money in such a short time? Well, you can't usually do it legally, but if you controlled the laws, imagine what you could do. So let's pretend the deal is I'll sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. Fraud, pure and simple, because it can't be sold, right? Kind of like selling Canada. But I'll sell you this car or this land that doesn't exist. But it's not fraudulent because I changed the law, so there's no such thing as fraud. Or the deal is we're going to rob a bank, get all that cash. But that's a crime, you say. Nope, not anymore. So here's how Trump and his family are doing this. They're doing it through these cryptocurrency deals. There's just a huge announcement in the Middle East by Zach Witkoff. Yes, that's the son of Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff. And he's a founder of the Trump family crypto firm, World Liberty Financial. So they made a really big announcement that their particular cryptocurrency, developed by the firm, was going to be used to complete a transaction between a state-backed United Arab Emirates investment firm and Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world. And as has been reported, pretty much every aspect of that announcement, by the way, made on stage with Eric Trump being there, is an enormous conflict of interest. It basically puts the Trump family company directly into business with a venture firm backed by a foreign government. It creates a formal link between World Liberty and Binance was a company that had been under U.S. government oversight since 2023, when it admitted to violating federal money laundering laws. And of course, it's an advertisement, right? This was in Dubai, huge announcement about this big deal. It's a great advertisement for crypto investors worldwide, because what better deal than entering into an investment backed by the U.S. president / government. So that's something to think about too, in addition to the actual back office kind of dealings and the conflicts of interest. This kind of conflict of interest is really, we always say this, unprecedented, but there's no precedent for this in modern U.S. history. Some of the investors who are buying into these coins are foreign nationals, obviously, who would be barred from directly contributing to a president via campaign contributions or donations even to the inaugural fund. But this way, they can basically donate millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars without worrying about any of those laws. And the Trump family can take in all this money without having to have it considered as any kind of contribution or donation, because it's under the guise of a business, right? Now, how has this been working? Basically, it's been working really, really well. The Trump family has increased its wealth by billions in just the last 6 months, hence the great have I got a deal for you aspect of it. The group State Democracy Defenders estimated the new report that the president's crypto holdings, remember this is once the guy who put down cryptocurrency, right, didn't trust it, that his currency holdings now in crypto are probably about 40% of his net worth, or about $2.9 billion. That's primarily due to the release of his coin, as well as these kinds of deals that are taking place. Now, what kind of criticism is being levied at this particular deal? Well, Elizabeth Warren, member of the U.S. Senate Banking Committee, calls it like it is. She says, backed by a fund, backed by a foreign government, just announced it will make a $2 billion deal using Donald Trump's stablecoins. Meanwhile, the Senate is gearing up to pass this so-called Genius Act as a way to regulate cryptocurrency. But there's nothing in there that would prevent this type of self-dealing. Keep in mind the kind of people who are involved in this. Some of them, like the well-known investor Justin Sun, was somebody who was fighting a Securities and Exchange Commission fraud lawsuit at the time of his original investment in World Liberty. Since then, the SEC has paused that case against him, citing public interest. More about that later. What this is a multi-pronged approach to a new way of making astronomical sums of money for Trump and his family. Remember that big to-do over the $2 billion that Jared Kushner got from the Saudis shortly after leaving the White House? It's going to pale by comparison to the stuff that's coming and happening right now. The way that State Democracy Defenders puts it, and we'll put up a link for their excellent report and analysis on this, is it demonstrates the many ways in which Trump is making this happen. It's not just one deal, not just one method. So, for example, within the first few months of taking office, they took a bunch of measures to weaken all kinds of enforcement, particularly involving federal securities laws involving crypto and digital assets. Basically, they caused, with their sort of friendly SEC people, the enforcement case that had been going on against Mr. Sun. Now, that particular case, they paused, as we talked about, under the notion of, oh, it's in the public interest. But the judge is only granting that because it's the SEC asking to pause it, right? It's not just the defendant or the target saying, stop this. The enforcement agency itself is saying, let's stop this temporarily. Next, remember the famous case of the Trump Hotel, the emoluments clause, right? It was violation because he had this Trump Hotel in D.C., bringing in all these foreign dignitaries. They're making money off of it. It's like, putting cash in his pocket. That's nothing compared to the cash that's being put in his pocket right now. That was a big deal in Trump 1. There were suits brought against it asking to find out just how much money is being made, who's paying it. The idea was not only does it violate the Constitution, we'll talk about in a moment, but it's a corrupt act. Well, that ended, as a reminder, because the Supreme Court threw out the cases as being moot, meaning once the presidency was over, they said, no need to worry about this anymore. I mean, I still remember being on air the first time we were talking about that, and the anchors and the panelists were all trying to make sure that we pronounced the word correctly because it was so rarely used. But it's Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8 of the U.S. Constitution, and it says, no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States. No person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present emolument, office, or title of any kind, or whatever, from any king, prince, or foreign state. So this is typically thought of as meaning you can't get a bunch of presidents, right? That's presents, because you have to declare these presidents. That's really not just for the president, but for the president in particular, you have to keep track of what's being gifted to you. You can't be accepting like gold scepters, coins, and things like that. Seems to be a exception right now if you basically create your own version of a gold coin. That's something to keep in mind that's going on right now, which is their crypto business is also benefiting from other relaxed enforcement. Remember, the Justice Department now has a policy that says they're backing off of any prosecutions involving digital currency, unless they relate to unlawful conduct by drug cartels, foreign terrorists, that sort of thing. But basically they're saying, hey, hands off of crypto right now. Just let it go. Let it be the wild, wild west. Now, there is a regulatory framework that's being discussed. We mentioned that before. Because right now, there really isn't anything. This is the infancy of any regulation legislation that would be directed at cryptocurrency. That's called the Genius Act, and it's supposed to establish that regulation. But right now, it has nothing in it to prevent Trump from using his executive powers to establish an agenda that helps him make a lot more money. This is kind of like the problem we have with members of Congress trading stocks, right? Essentially, they have insider information. They know, for example, if there's legislation coming, they may have insider information in other ways from investigations that are going on. Well, this would be a chance for Congress to get things right from the start. They could right away make it plain that neither the president nor other elected officials can invest in what they're regulating, meaning digital assets, name it in particular. Put sunlight on it, make it plain for everyone to see. That would be a chance to stop the corruption before it happens. Now, I think it may also be a ripe time for a new lawsuit about the Emoluments Clause, but here's a chance for Congress to really stand up rather than well-intentioned plaintiffs having to bring this case to use the courts to make Trump disclose things or to stop his actions. Congress could do something here. Just as it would have been great if they had done something about the stock trading a long time ago, here in this new age of digital assets, just in the infancy of regulation, they have a chance to lay the groundwork for ethical and honest conduct or for just runaway corruption. Just imagine how bad this can get with this use of the cryptocurrency. I mean, just think about it. Every new administration gets to issue its own digital currency. I mean, that's a lot more than just putting the emperor's likeness on the coins, right? This is each administration says we're printing our own money to maximize how much we personally can make from it because we're also investing in the money and investing in the printing. Every time someone comes into office, they can do that to make gazillions of dollars, billions, even more than that. What a great way to destroy the stability and the reliability and the transparency of a financial system. So we'll keep an eye on this. We'll see if Congress actually does something. Let's tell them they need to do something about it. But we'll keep an eye on this story because it's clearly developing and it's yet another piece of the enormous amount of corruption that's happening right now. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Keep those replies and comments coming. I try to get back to you when I can. Do follow me on Blue Sky. Want to hear from you and would love to find more ways to engage with you. See you soon.
I'm Michael Popak, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popak Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popak Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popak Firm today at 1-877-POPAK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopakfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popak Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.